Hey yo guys, I'm here to give you my predictions for tonight's HBO Boxing After Dark when Juan Manuel Marquez takes on Juan Diaz, as well as my WEC 39 predictions from Corpus Christi, Texas, WEC's first show in the great state of Texas, where the WEC Featherweight Championship will be on the line when Mike Thomas Brown defends up against Leonard Garcia. Anyways, let's start with the boxing here. Gotta say, this fight here between Diaz and Marquez could be fight of the year. I know I've said that a lot on some of the fights, but I think, you know, when you have two exciting fighters like this, you know, especially two guys that, you know, throw them, Marquez being the veteran, you know, he likes to fight anyone, anytime, any weight class. You know, he proved that up in his last victory against Joel Casamayor. You know, he lost last year, lost a close decision to Manny Pacquiao before Manny Pacquiao, you know, became a superstar in the sport of boxing, you know, when he decimated Oscar De La Hoya. When you go look at Diaz here, I mean, Diaz was one of the top prospects in the lightweight division. I mean, you know, in a short amount of time, you know, he had 3 championships. You know, he had the WBA, the WBC, and I believe the IBF lightweight championship. And, you know, things looked to be going strong, but then, you know, he took on Nate Campbell, and, you know, for some reason he was off his game, and, you know, he lost his championships, and, you know, that was a big, you know, stunt. I mean, he got absolutely decimated by Nate Campbell, but like a true champion, he was able to come back, you know, in a fight that, you know, he desperately needed to win, as well as his opponent in Michael Katsides, who had, you know, just come off a loss to Joel Casamayor. So, I mean, he needed that win to Diaz, and he proved it. He got the win. You know, he won. He dictated the pace in the fight, and he won that fight pretty thoroughly in my mind. So now he goes on. He takes on Marquez. Very interesting fight. I mean, how can you not say this would be fight of the year? I mean, it's just going to be an explosion of talent in there. Really, how do you look at it? Well, I see the fact that, you know, Marquez being the veteran, you know, and the fact that, you know, he's a pretty tall guy for the lightweight division, has a strong reach. You know, if he can keep the fight in the center ring, that's where he's going to win the fight. Keeping it, you know, away from the ropes, you know, not letting the Diaz, you know, bully him into the corner, so it's the ropes, and, you know, go to work on the body, and, you know, go to work on the head, anything, you know, anything where he's, you know, bullied into a corner where his back is to something, that's not where it's going to be. So, but he's going to keep the fight in the center ring is Marquez. Use the jab he has, and, you know, pick it apart there, because then, you know, you're going to have Diaz trying to counterpunch and try and get inside of it. I don't think he'll be able to if it's kept there in the center ring. But, like I said, if Diaz can, you know, move Marquez into the ropes, into the corner, what have you, and, you know, tee off, then we could have some real exciting, you know, exchanges there. I think either way we're going to get some exciting exchanges. I think, you know, it'll definitely come down to how the ring geography, who can dictate the pace, or who can dictate where the fight will take place in the ring. That's where it's going to be a telling tale, and it makes it a very hard fight for me to predict. I like both guys. I like how both guys are, you know, entertaining and they're explosive. Especially Diaz and Marquez too, but, you know, I'm just saying right now, this is a very tough fight for me to predict. I mean, I've made some weird predictions in the past, mainly me picking Pavlik over Hopkins, and I picked Pavlik to pretty much decimate Bernard Hopkins. I was when I look back in, you know, what was I thinking on that one? But anyways, my prediction on this one will probably be, I mean, it's just so hard to say this, but I'm going to take Juan Diaz. I just think that, you know, he has the ability. I mean, he's got the youngness behind him. I mean, he has the ability to, you know, bully Marquez if he wants to. It just depends if we get that, you know, that Diaz we've seen in every other fight, with the exception of the Campbell fight. If we get that one, we could see this happening. I just, for some reason, see him being able to, you know, even, you know, if it's centering, he can, you know, maybe do enough to avoid the jab and, you know, let some explosion punches happening. I definitely don't know if this thing will go to a decision, as, you know, both guys like to just throw bombs, and they're both exciting. I think, you know, it'll be Diaz probably 11th round, TKO and KO. I mean, how can I'm going to go Diaz that way, but then again, you just know that, you know, Marquez's power is pretty underrated, especially since he was the first guy ever to, you know, TKO or KO, however you want to call it, Joel Casamayor. So that leaves it opening, but still I think I'm going to go with Diaz 11th round TKO. So that's my thoughts there. This could be a really exciting fight. Hopefully you get to check it out. I still haven't seen the Daniel Judah versus Glenn Johnson fight from Friday Night Fights last night as well. I still have to see the Showtime card with the Banks Adamic fight, which I've heard there was a crazy knockout in. Anyways, let's move over here to the WEC. Like I said, the WEC makes their debut in the great state of Texas in Corpus Christi. And they actually throw on a pretty strong card, of course, with the main event with Leonard, Garcia, and Mike Brown. There's going to be a huge fan following there behind Garcia, what have you. But you look at the other cards on the main fights on the main card. I mean, the first fight here, which is, you know, to see where these guys are going to be in this division. It's going to be, it was a lightweight bout between Razor Rob McCollough and Marcus Hicks. We all know that Rob McCollough used to be the former WEC lightweight champion before Jamie Varner punished him for, I shouldn't say punished him, but took the belt from him. And things have sort of been in a tailspin from Rob McCollough. He went 1-2 in the WEC last year. I mean, he lost, you know, a fight, you know, up against Donald the Cowboy Cerrone, but still, you know, his only win really was against, you know, a disappointing decision victory against Kenneth Alexander. His opponent, Marcus Hicks, looked to be a strong force in the lightweight division up until he met the roadblock of the WEC lightweight champion Jamie Varner. So like I said earlier, this fight, you know, gets to see where these guys will lie in the division. How do I look at this fight? Well, you know, ever since, you know, that loss to Varner, I think, you know, he's just been in a tailspin. He really wants a victory. He wants to keep the fight standing. If he can keep this, or excuse me, he wants to take this one to the ground. I mean, I think that him on the ground would be, you know, a little bit better than Marcus, or no, what am I talking about? McCullough's the better one on the stand-up. Okay, I mean, he's going to want to keep it there. If he keeps it there, I think that he could potentially get a... But Marcus Hicks, most of his victories have become of either, you know, he'll get you down, either ground and pound you or submit you. I like that advantage more, where there's two chances of him there. I mean, McCullough's got some decent takedown defense, but I just think eventually Hicks will take him down and probably put on a ground and pounds display. So I'm gonna go probably second round TKO Marcus Hicks. Moving over to the next, there's another lightweight bout. It's Ricardo Lamas versus Bart Palaszewski. Ricardo Lamas is the replacement from the injured Richard Crunkleton, who just got injured, I believe, this week. So that throws a bit of a wrench into the Palaszewski game plan. But I still believe that Bart Palaszewski, the IFL veteran, with a guy with over, you know, 30 pro MMA fights under his record, you know, I think I'm going to have to give the advantage there. You know, I don't know Lamas. I know he's a really strong wrestler, but, you know, I think Palaszewski's, you know, pretty strong on the ground. You know, I think he can get out of any attempts from Lamas, and I just think that the veteranness experience, you know, being in MMA will, you know, lead to him getting the victory there. I think that's why I'm going to take Palaszewski. You know, Palaszewski, we all know about the IFL veteran, had probably one of the best fights in the IFL's short history against Chris Horodecki. So take Bart Palaszewski. You know, he got on a roll in his first WEC fight. I believe it was on the undercard of WEC 36, where he got a victory there. So I'm going to have to take Palaszewski to keep rolling along and look like to be a contender for Jamie Varner's lightweight championship. Anyways, then we move over to the next fight, which is a featherweight bout between Jose Aldo and Chris Mickle. Well, this to me looks like the WEC grooming Jose Aldo for big things. Not trying to knock Chris Mickle. I mean, he's a pretty good fighter, but still, I mean, how can you just not like Aldo? And, you know, the man's talented, you know, stand up and, you know, on the ground, and really strong jiu-jitsu does Jose Aldo. He had a sick knockout at the WEC 38, where, you know, big knee strike, and then, you know, it finished him with, you know, punches. That was a pretty strong knockout. Looks like that the winner of the Garcia versus Brown bout are going to eventually either take on Faber or Jose Aldo. WC's looking to groom him up for, you know, big things. I think easy going to be a first round TKO KO against Chris Mickle. Not trying to knock you, Chris Mickle, but I think you're in over your head here up against Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo is my prediction. Then we move over to the main event, which is for the WEC Featherweight Championship. Mike Thomas Brown defends against Leonard Garcia. How do you look at this one? Well, you see, Mike Brown got the victory here. You know, a lot of people said that, you know, it was a fluke win. I wouldn't disagree with you on that. I think, you know, Brown rocked Faber. Faber bounced off the cage and didn't really know where he was and tried, you know, a pro wrestling back elbow off the ropes, and I just thought that, I mean, left him so, you know, Brown caught him, but, you know, Brown was pretty strong there. He really wasn't able to get taken down. You know, he definitely won the stand-up war, and, you know, he just caught Faber there. I mean, that's what MMA is. But I think that, you know, it looked actually, Brown got worse for wear. I mean, Faber was able to break one of Brown's ribs, and obviously it was an accident and all, but still, I mean, he made a connection there and it broke the rib. I mean, power behind Faber. So, you know, there was some recuperation time. He's taking on Leonard Garcia, who's got, you know, hands of steel. You know, he's got some ferocious punching power, you know, for the featherweight division. So, how do you look at this one? I think, you know, Brown's going to want to take this to the ground, okay? But I think, you know, Garcia, he's just got, you know, strong enough takedown defense. And I think, you know, Garcia can keep this standing. And he's just going to, you know, throw some heavy punches, and he's going to probably connect on Brown. I just see him doing that. Probably, you know, want to throw some jabs, you know, get him up against the cage, throw some jabs or get him in a clinch, throw some knees into the midsection, to the ribs, which will drop the head, and then he can throw a punch, dropping Brown. I just think there's too much punching power in between Garcia. And, you know, plus the fact this is in his home state, he's going to have so amped for this, it's not even going to be funny. So I'm going to take Leonard Garcia to be your new WEC Featherweight Champion. Really, that's where it would lie. Where would you go there? I guess, you know, they're going to probably put Faber against Garcia at the next rate, and then you probably would have to look at Aldo. I mean, I don't know how you can't discard Jose Aldo. But anyways, that's it for me on the predictions. Hope you enjoy these shows. Before I want to say, if you can send me questions. I need a bit more questions before I can officially do a Q&A. You know, on anything, you know, pro wrestling, boxing, mixed martial arts. If you know the drill, I've actually embedded it on my channel where you can send it, you know, YouTube inbox, the email account, thedirtywhiteboyquestions@hotmail.com, as well as my MySpace inbox. And also, still looking for some feedback on UFC 95. Didn't get much. Don't know why. It was a weird night to put up a video on Sunday. Maybe it was Oscars. I don't know. I don't think that many people really watched it. But anyways, we'd love to know your feedback on UFC 95. You know, I thought overall it was a great card. You know, Sanchez and Stevenson put on a great fight. You know, Rory Markham, Dan Hardy was good. You know, we got to see Junior Dos Santos prove that he's the real deal. Josh Koscheck gets knocked out by Palaszewski. Whatever you thought, you know, I would still like to know, you know, fight of the night, best fight, worst fight, and overall opinions on that video. As well, when this card review comes up, same deal. But anyways, that's it for me. I'm out. Peace.